Hello and welcome to another update video about Polkadot. The dot chart still seems to be caught in this current correction. We talked about it in the last few days already. The movement of the lows is promising. It shows a potential 5-wave move up of the October lows. Not very happy with this wick down. It's not super reliable, but we can get away with calling it a potential 5-wave move in a diagonal structure, followed by a 3-wave correction, which can take various shapes and sizes. There are more than 10, I think 12 or 13 corrective patterns in Elliott Wave, in the Elliott Wave structures. And yeah, it could be any one of them. So you don't really know beforehand. So you never know in the beginning how long a correction really will take. There are a few guidelines and a few things we can use really, including Fibonacci support levels, as well as previous structural support, as well as certain lows in the move to the upside, like a wave 4 low. Oftentimes, for example, a wave 2 reaches the area around the wave 4 of a lower degree, and that was here at around $4.50. We've not reached that yet. And then we can look for potential impulses to the upside. So once the first impulse to the upside is showing, that could be a signal that the overall correction is over. And then we can watch for the next 3-wave pullback that could provide another trade setup or entry point. But I think we had some really good ones here. Recently, we had that larger white box, which was when the wave count to the downside was full. I talked about it around the 10th of October. You will remember that video if you watched my dot videos back then, where we talked about that we are watching in the white box for a reversal and that the wave count was technically full. So it actually, even on the most, even on the nano scale, on the micro and nano scales, the wave count was full. You don't always get that. That was pretty cool, and it actually turned around. And then for anybody who missed that, we had another box, which was here, that yellow support range that was triggered around the 27th of October. And then it went, okay? It went and formed 5 waves. And now we seem to be in this larger wave 2 correction. The move to the downside looks very choppy, very what we would call corrective. You have a lot of overlapping price action. That is actually good, because it suggests indeed that the next move to the upside could be an impulse, because you have an impulse or a diagonal to the upside, then a corrective move to the downside. Again, that's pretty good, because whenever we have corrective downside, it indicates that it might be forming a higher low. It wouldn't be good to potentially see an impulse down, which would even break below support. That would be an indication that this setup is not going to work out, and we will have to expect potentially new bear market lows. But for now, the move down is corrective. It's overlapping. This overlapping price action is not a strong sign of downtrend. It's a signal that it's simply a correction in an overall uptrend. Now, that can change, but we can only really work with the data that we have. It's all about probabilities. And I gave you a support area for the current, what we would call wave 2 correction. Critical support is down there at $3.96. So as long as that level is holding, the expectation of a 3rd wave rally afterwards is reasonable. It's a reasonable expectation. However, ideally, it doesn't even get down that much. Ideally, we don't even come down to that level. Better would be to potentially just sort of get into the area around $4.50 or $4.30. The $4.30 level is really critical. It's the area of previous structural support here. It's the low that was made in June. And also, it's a breakout point. We had here this red line, which was a breakout point here end of October. And in addition to that, obviously, it is the 61.8 retracement level, a critical support. Now, in addition to that, we have a potential inverse head and shoulders pattern here that might be forming. And this inverse head and shoulders pattern with a neckline around $5.80, could form. It could form if the right shoulder is forming, and that could be the wave 2. It's quite funny to see how traditional patterns and Elliott Wave patterns here work hand in hand. So we've got the left shoulder, which was quite large. Then this head, and now potentially the right shoulder. It could come down a little lower. Again, possibly 430 would look best, and then potentially a break above that 580 level. But to successfully do that, we need good proportions in this move. So to really call it an inverse head and shoulders pattern, it would be good to get sort of at least into the area between 450 and 430 before attempting a turnaround then to the upside. And if the turnaround is successful and then this neckline breaks to the upside, then we would call that a third wave rally. And targets, and when we talk about targets there, we can calculate that as well. By the way, I take that out. We would have to make an assumption now. What I could do, could take the height of the head, then we add it to a potential breakout point, and it gives us certainly a level to watch, and it would be up there around $9.30. Okay, that's the inverse head and shoulders target, but we can also make some assumptions. Let's say the move down, the current correction goes down to 430, then we would be watching for the area. If this is going to form an impulse, well, ideally at least 866, possibly 920, 977 as key targets in the third wave. So I think that adds up quite nicely. And the question is just, what is this correction doing at the moment? Currently it's caught below a trend line. I'm labeling it as an WXY structure. Could also be that this wave W was here. X wave sits here, so then you have an A, B, C, and wave W. This was the X, and now it's forming an A, currently a B, possibly hitting the trend line, and then a C wave down. Now, and that could even extend further, So don't be so focused on the exact micro count. What is more important is to understand what is the critical support level. And critical support is $3.96, and another one that we identified in this video is $4.30. That's my update about DOT. I hope you will like the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter. There's additional content there every single day. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.